Oh, well, we transferring heat brings up, and what we're going to talk about transferring heat in a little while, because we're going to be doing a special show, but this is our next subject, anyways. I don't think we either one of us have any more to say about Ian.
Nope.
Um, if you discuss Britt Baker, Mercedes did an IG live during the show. Fans said they wanted more of her and Britt, which Mercedes said you did. LOL, Messy, LOL. I don't even know what that means. Like you did, as in
I
you already
think
got them that.
everybody needs to calm down on these rumors
Okay.
because they're not coming from. Let's put it this way: if you're seeing Britt Baker rumors and stuff like that, and it's not coming from Fightful, I wouldn't believe them.
Okay. Well, who is it coming from?
It came from the site that reported it. It was
Okay.
Pro Wrestling. I forgot what it was,
So
but
what was up with the tweet that Britt did about the bottle of water?
oh, it was about
Like I understand the tweet, but I mean, why did she put it out there if she's not trying to get out?
She might be trying to get out, but she'd
Okay.
never tell you she's trying to get out necessarily.
And she's flat out telling Fightful that she's not trying to get out.
I don't know if she's flat out telling Fightful that, but I'm just saying
Okay.
if it
That's what I understood. Somebody told me that Sean reported that neither side is trying to end their
okay, then I would believe what Sean says.
No, he's not saying that Britt's happy there. He's just saying
no, but I
leave.
don't think Britt would air her dirty laundry to a source that wasn't Fightful.
And then, of course, Samoa Joe and Queen Aminata stirred the pot. Queen Aminata held up a picture of a water bottle that cost $6.50, and actually she's kind of an idiot because as soon as she pulled that thing off of the motion sensor in her hotel room, she's good for that $6.50, and there's no reason to pay $6.50 for a bottle of water in a hotel room.
And
then again, Tony probably is paying for it anyway, so maybe she's.
And it's one of these things where it's like, look, do I think Britt Baker wants to leave? Yes. Do I think she's saying she wants to leave? No, because I would be dumb.
Because she wants to keep getting paid.
Because she wants to keep getting paid, and she doesn't want her to lose her leverage necessarily if she does want to leave. It's just, yeah, and it's one of those things where, and there are other issues involved here, that we can't talk about, but it's one of these things where it's like,
well, we can talk about what's out
there. No, but we can talk about something else, and that is, would you be surprised if Britt Baker wanted to leave? And the answer there is no, because she played the Game of Thrones and lost, and when you either win or you die. And look, she had a lot of political power backstage. She used to have Tony's ear on the women's division and who got hired and fired, and then all of a sudden the invitations to start going to meetings dried up a little bit, probably, I would guess, or Tony moved on, and hey, we found somebody else to build the division around. Here's Tony Storm.
Well, I think it was a combination of a number of things.
It's a combination of a number of things, yes.
Yeah, but and lots of them were beyond her control.
Yes, and some of them were in her control.
Correct. And so you say, like, okay, the untimely injuries, untimely injuries to her partner at the time, which she took time off to help him with. The fact that she didn't progress in the ring like a lot of the other people in her division did, which again could also go back to those injuries.
Yes.
The one thing that wasn't completely in her control, and I think is the main reason she's not on TV right now, and people for whatever reason want to go back to that Mercedes match at All In and say that's the reason. That is not the reason.
It's the Serena Deeb thing, right?
It's the Serena Deeb thing.
Yeah, you don't do that on TV.
It was about a month after the Mercedes match. They were building up a feud for her with Serena Deeb. And Serena Deeb comes out to start this feud, and Britt looked like she couldn't care less.
And she literally said, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Over and over and over.
And that's the last time we saw Britt Baker on AEW television. And I think it's the last time we will see Britt Baker on AEW television, because at that point, I think Tony put her on ignore.
Yes, I would say so. Would it shock me if she does make an appearance somewhere? No, not all that much. Like if it's to put somebody over
somewhere, like you mean like on TV?
I mean Collision or Dynamite. It would not.
It could happen. It could happen tonight. Like literally, she's under contract. If they ask her to do it, she's going to do it. if I had to put money on it, I would say no.
Casino Battle Royal, if she's in there, it wouldn't shock me if she was like a surprise to bring back, but I don't think she'd win.
It would shock is probably too hard. It would surprise me. I wouldn't say it would shock me.
And
if you asked me to put money on will Britt Baker be in that thing, I would bet the no. But
I'm also of the opinion, and this is me being purely speculative in some ways, is that the grass isn't necessarily greener for her in WWE.
No, because unless she's willing to play ball.
I see a couple of paths. Yes, she has some baggage from her reputation and whatnot. And look, when she was in AEW and she was at the higher power, her reach exceeded her grasp a bit. She thought she was a work rate type person, I think. And the crowd never got behind her like that. But if WWE signs her, she could very well just be in NXT to put people over. And if she gets to the main roster, it might just be to reteam her with Chelsea Green or the Santana Garrett route, where she's like in there to do a couple of jobs and then she's in catering the rest of the time.
She's in like every time they have a 4-way for a number 1 contender spot, she's in it and she takes the pin, and every once in a while when they're in Pittsburgh, she gets a win.
And I respect the hell out of Britt Baker in terms of what she's done in terms of academics while also maintaining a wrestling career and putting her dentistry career out there as well. I do. It's one of these things where I just think the timing is terrible for her right now.
Yeah.
Because NXT doesn't need her, but they'll take her to put over, how is she going to react that first time they go, hey, you're putting over Tatum Paxley right now? Or somebody who's not talented.
She could step right in there and be in that fatal influence group, and that would be a perfect spot for her.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
it's fine.
Yeah, and she doesn't fit in AEW. She just doesn't. I don't want to get into I put up a few of the comments in the.
She's burned a lot of bridges. Let's put it.
Yeah, and people are not happy with her, and the AEW fans really don't want to see her, and that is the reason why I say I'd be surprised, because it's not only that Tony doesn't really want to use her, but it's also that the AW fans don't even really want her.
Right. And they would turn on her.
Right. So if it was a thing where, put it like Athena, for instance, who fans were clamoring for Athena, and then finally Tony put her on TV. That's different, where that's somebody they actually want. I would say, whereas, she's more in like the Malachi Black, Miro kind of camp where the fans were done with them, whereas Ricky Starks was more like, we want Ricky, but for whatever reason, Tony didn't want Ricky. But I think the AEW fans would have gladly accepted Ricky back, but they had no interest in Miro or Malachi. So
I would agree there.
And they didn't care about Ethan, and that's fine. He's doing fine right now. So we'll see what happens with Britt. I tend to believe Sean. He's got sources that are pretty inside on both sides of that one, and if he says that don't expect her anywhere until 2027, I would think that's probably correct.
Yeah, and I think and look, it's the path of least resistance. You just we're paying you to sit at home, keep your mouth shut, and maybe we'll take some time off it, like Mariah May did. And then
Mariah did it perfectly. And that also showed, Tony also showed what he's going to do with people that don't want to be there. Oh, okay, you don't want to be there, fine.
But the water bottle was a little bit of performative. I will give it that.
Yeah,